In this set of ALEKS College Algebra, we will be looking at the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines, Part 1. And so let's immediately look at a few rules here. A rule: parallel lines have equal slopes. So if two lines are parallel, they are obviously run along side by side, and they will have slopes that are exactly the same. On the other hand, two lines that are perpendicular, in other words, meet at right angles, will have slopes that we say in English are negative reciprocals. Now, the math way of dealing with this is to say that the product of the slopes m1, m2 is -1. So let me give you a couple of examples of that. Let's suppose the first line has a slope of 2/3. Then the second line will have a slope of -3/2. Okay, the slopes have opposite signs and they're the reciprocals of each other. You can see here that if these slopes are multiplied together, this would give -6/6 or -1. Another example: let's suppose your first line has a slope of 2. Then your perpendicular line to that would have a slope of -1/2. Once again, the product of these two slopes would be -1. Let's suppose that the first slope was 1/3. Then the slope of the perpendicular line to that would be its negative reciprocal. That would be -3. And so in all of these situations, you can see the rule here, the negative reciprocal, or you can apply the mathematical rule, the product is -1. Sometimes that's useful. Sometimes you can just look at it and think of the negative reciprocal rule and come out with that. Let's work a real problem now so we can see this in operation. Okay, here in ALEKS then, they give us the problem. We have a line that's given in standard form, and they want us to find the slope of the perpendicular line, the slope of the parallel line. So once again, first thing you would want to do here is review quickly that you want to determine the slope of this line. I did a video on that earlier, and what we'll basically do here is just simply solve for y. So let's go ahead and look at our notes, and we can see here that if we merely solve for y here, we'll have 7y is equal to -1x plus 9. Divide both sides by 7, so that's going to be -1/7 x, y equals -1/7 x plus 9/7, technically. And so what we're going to do then is immediately notice that the slope of the original line is -1/7. Okay, so this is our old slope. Now they want us to do two things. They want us to, first of all, find the perpendicular line's slope. Remember here that the perpendicular line is going to have a slope which is a negative reciprocal. So since we have the -1/7, we can simply flip that over and change the sign. So we're going to have a slope of 7. In the parallel case, remember parallel lines have equal slopes, and so it will stay the same at -1/7. So let's go over here and put that into our ALEKS problem. They're asking for the perpendicular first. That slope is 7. The slope of the parallel line is -1/7. Let's check that. This is the slope of parallel and perpendicular lines in ALEKS College Algebra.